Not too bad. Plus, it's indoors. Can't beat that on a February day, even though it's not too cold today. We're talking hot rods. These are real hot rods that you see right here, all used in the filming of one of the Fast and the Furious movies. What I'm trying to crawl out of here, a 66 Corvette Stingray. Beautiful car on the outside. You look inside with all the seat belts. It's definitely built to be a race car. And all of those cars, these aren't just mock-ups or models. They were used in the filming of the Fast and Furious films. Joined here by Larry May with the...
Now, do we need to use a chiropractor after getting out of that?
Yeah, I might. That takes a little bit of skill to hop out of there, especially holding onto a microphone and all of that. Larry, I know the Fast and Furious cars are what kind of gets some people in the door here, but there are hundreds of cars here today, something for everybody.
We have 800 cars on the floor. We have race cars, custom cars, hot rods, motorcycles, trucks, a little bit of everything. Here at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama, we try to provide family entertainment. We have an FMX stunt show, motorcycle stunt show, the Fast and Furious cars. So we have lots of things. That is family entertainment. There was a time when this was a guy thing, but it's not that way anymore. This is family entertainment.
Sure, so something for all ages, and I can see that as we'll walk through here. I know you've traveled with this show all the time. I know it's like trying to pick out your favorite kid, but is there a style of car that you like so much here?
I prefer the old hot rods, but I also look at my favorite cars that are modified Volkswagen. So it depends on what you see, but I'm a baby boomer, so I grew up with 50s and 60s cars. So that's what I prefer. But I look at things, I also still judge shows, so I look at things through judges' eyes. And the quality of the cars, the quality of the workmanship of the bar just gets raised higher and higher. And this is, I mean, as you walk in, it's just rolling automotive art. It's great.
Very good. Rolling automotive art. I like the way you said that, Larry, out here at the World Wheels Bartle Hall.